Hello and welcome to another video at Dom Limited. So I'm kind of in a little bit of a predicament right now. It's already 1 o'clock in the morning and I got a customer coming tomorrow. So originally I wanted to, so we have ourselves a Dell Optiplex 780 with the Core Dual Tool or Core 2 Dual. And the annoying thing is this one's missing stickers on the front. It's missing the Windows 7 sticker and the Windows or the Intel sticker. So real quick, I'm gonna get my spec sheet up. Oh, come on. Not the Plex 780. Yada yada yada. Looking for CNET. Okay. Okay, so this is not a residential machine. This is a business machine here. And these things are really nice computers for the time. Sure, it's old. It's about a 10-year-old computer, give or take. So basically, this is like a $700 or $800, $900 computer when it was new. You got your typical gray casing. This style casing they've been using since late 2000. I'd say early 2008 they started using that, up until 2011. I switched over to, I'll make a video on a 2011 or 2010, partial 2010s and 2011s they were still using this, and then they were using a newer style casing. But what's kind of cool is up at the top, you got your badge that says Optiplex 780. It's a no thrills machine, not a lot of bells and whistles. This computer you can hyper-thread with. It's got hyper-threading capabilities, and that's actually a good thing. You can actually run virtual machines. But unfortunately, due to the limited amount of time, because I want to get out of here by 1:30, go home, watch TV or something. So it's got your typical, so we'll zoom out of here. You do have the option to put a floppy drive there or a multi-card reader bezel on the front, or if you wanted to put a zip drive or something in there, there's plenty of I/O ports on, or plenty of ports on the motherboard for plugging in. You got your typical 3.5-inch microphone port. You got your headphone port, which also works as you can plug external speakers in. And my camera's misbehaving again. And then you got two USB 2.0 ports on the front. So if you got flash drives that you want to plug in, or you want to plug your phone in, or MP3 or iPod, or plug mouses or keyboards or printers or network adapters, or you name it. Or if you want to plug in a multi-card reader, there's so much you can do with those USB ports. And for the time, the only thing that's kind of sluggish is if you plug an external hard drive in that's USB 3.0. Or you can even plug a CD-ROM drive or USB-ROM drive in, or a docking station for hard drives. In the back, let's see, I think there are 6 USB ports standard. This model does not feature PS2 connections, which that's kind of odd because in corporate businesses Usually a lot of times they're about security. And they like, usually in corporate offices, they like to disable USB ports so people cannot steal information and make espionage against the company. But apparently Dell did not include that feature. And how I found this computer was, I was at an estate sale on the south side of Manitowoc. And the family that was running the estate sale, they didn't think anybody would want the computer, so they just kind of left it in a pile of junk. And I just happened to be going through there, and I said, "Oh, what do you want for that computer?" And they said, "Do you really want it?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So I gave them $10 for it, and I got the monitor. But the monitor that came with it, I kept that for myself. And the monitor that's sitting here, I'm not selling with this computer. I got a different one on the floor. But tomorrow we'll make a quick review about that before it goes out the door. It's nothing that spectacular of a monitor, but the only peripherals. This monitor is a couple of years older than, it's like a 2007. Keyboard's around the appropriate era of when this computer came out. Mouse is a little bit newer. It's a Dell mouse, but it's something that you would see with like a 2014, 15. Speakers are probably 2012 era. I should have done my research on all the peripherals, but we're going to go back and so it's obviously, it has Intel vPro technology. It's a Core 2 dual, E84 clocked at 3 gigahertz. It's dual core, 64-bit computing, yes. Data bus speeds is 1333 megahertz. Intel chipset is a Intel Q45 Express. Processor main features virtualization technology, so you could run VMware. On here you could run, sorry about that. So you could run your Linux or Apple Hackintosh, as I call it. Or you could run servers or whatever fancies your tickle. So enough on that topic. Processor socket is an LGA 775 socket. Cache memory installed is an L2 cache 6 megabytes. Cache per processor is also 6 megabytes. Type is an L2 cache. Per processor size 6 megabytes. Installed. Originally when I got this computer it only had 4 gigs. And I bought Hynix memory. Unfortunately, when I made this video the first time around back in June, I also did a memory upgrade process, which I showed on camera, but since I lost the footage, I'm not going to do it again, so you're on your own with that one. But, so this computer has 12 gigs of RAM in there, and it was a lot faster than with 4. I matched up the memory to make sure that it was all the same. Even though the stuff that was in there was Samsung, but Hynix had a sale, so I bought. So it's also a dual channel memory architecture, unbuffered. Configuration features 2x2 gigs. It's DDR3, SD-RAM. Originally came with 4 gigs. Data in check non-ECC. Rated memory speed 1333 megahertz. Maximum supported size is 16 gigs. Form factor DIMM 240 pins. There's 4 slots, 2 empties. Storage is ATA 300. Humidity range doesn't matter that much. As long as you don't let it run in like a 100-degree room, it'll run fine. Anything. If the computer gets too hot, there's a safety on the motherboard that will shut the computer off to prevent it from overheating. So the onboard video is dynamic video memory technology 5.0. This computer did come with a 500 gig drive when it was brand new. And sometime down the road, the original owner of this computer put a 2 terabyte drive in there. But unfortunately he wanted it back. or the family wanted it destroyed. I was kind of sad at that because it was a nice 2 terabyte drive. It was fairly new. So I had to destroy a perfectly good drive just to satisfy them. So I ended up putting a 160 gig cheap drive in there just because that's all I had at the time, and I was short. I'm pretty much broke most of the time anyway, so. When you're a businessman, you never have extra cash to sit on, so enough about that. So let's get down to Core 2 Dual. This computer does feature DVD writer, DVD upholstery writable, floppy none, storage removable none. So this computer features Ethernet fast Ethernet gigabit Ethernet. It's integrated. It's a model Intel B2567LM. We already went over that. The included preloaded software was an Image of Select Office 10 suite purchased. So it did come with Windows 10 or Windows 2010 Office Starter. Monitor did not come with one. Dimensions is 7.4 inches, 17 inches in depth, and then 16.1 in height. It's form factor. The integrated graphics that was on here was an Intel AM or GMA 4500 dynamic video memory technology. This computer also featured DVI DisplayPort VGA. Audio is integrated stereo, 192 kHz, high definition, very generic. And sometime down the road, the gentleman that had it put a different cheap graphics card in there that has the digital video on it. So it is equipped to. I don't even think it's a gig. I think it's like a 512 megabyte card. But it's still something. The graphics aren't bad. I will turn it on in a second. And the original keyboard and mouse that came with this computer are long gone. Came with Windows 7 Professional 64-bit edition. It also had Cyber DVD, Roxio Creator, Trend Micro Worry-Free, Essential Security Service. Yeah, we went over that already. So this computer had 3-year warranty, and on site, of course. Well, even response time next business day. Wow. So he really. So what we will do next is we'll kind of give you a more close up of the system. So we'll go around the back side. So this is basically what we're looking at here. So what's cool about Dell that no other manufacturer has, on the power supply you can actually test the power supply without having it hooked up to the motherboard. You just, all you do is you plug your power cord in, plug it into a 120, and my camera's misbehaving again. Of course. So you just press the button and you can test to make sure. And you got 6 USB ports 2.0 on the back. You got your 10100 1000 gigabit integrated controller. You got your integrated VGA. You got a serial port on here. Parallel printer. You got eSATA DisplayPort. And then this is the card that the gentleman installed in the system before I got it. And then you got your typical 3.5 inch millimeter audio out jack or headphone jack, and then a combination line in microphone. So to be honest, it's not the rare and unusual machine. There's hundreds and thousands of these things. So, and up here, if you're worried about security, you have the option of locking it with a padlock, or if you're privileged and lucky enough, there's a special key that you could buy from Dell at the time, and you can lock the case. I don't think this one features a tamper switch on the inside. Well, I think it opens. Oh, it opens from this side. Okay, I forgot. So this is basically that's your size of your power supply. You press this blue button over here and you can pop. Actually, no, you pull it out. It's hard doing it with one hand. So you can pull it out like this. That's where your hard drive goes. That's where all the memory is. I'm sorry I can't give you a better view of the system. Oh, that is a Dell OEM card. Okay. So that's a PCIe slot. So you got room for one more expansion at least. So if you wanted to put another NIC card on here, you could. That's the heat sink over there. And I will have to actually take it off the tripod for this one. So this one, you got a typical watch battery style. BIOS battery. Caps are all good on here. There may have been afterthought because there's potentially room for another expansion slot. So you got one more SATA port available. So in case you wanted to run a peripheral, you could. For being a basic machine, there's a lot of capabilities of it. You could do video editing with this machine. That's if you did like 400 by 800 resolution. So these covers are real easy to pop back in. Well. Alright, well, so we'll go ahead and fire it up real quick. So in the front there, underneath the ports there, you got different lights that come on. One on the end is Ethernet, the other 4 diagnostic lights, so in case something quit working, it'll give you beep codes and then certain lights will flash. The light on the end is the hard drive. Now we'll hit F10, and I gotta make sure I have it in the right. Crap. Let's see what we're. Okay, I didn't realize that Dell used this so early. So this is basically the BIOS. And this is similar to like my my computer at home. So this just kind of gives you the information, what kind of memory that I have. So it just tells you the boot sequence here. There's no diskettes. SATA operation. This computer does feature RAID capabilities. You also have smart reporting, so you could turn it on if you wanted to know if something was happening. Tells you what kind of drives you have. So we'll get out of this drives. We'll go to system configuration. Integrated NIC is enable Pixie. You can disable it, enable it, or you can have image server, whatever your preference. USB controller. You can actually you can disable that, but I don't know why you'd want to because you don't have PS2 available. You got a parallel port you can disable. You can make it compatible with no DMA, DMA 1, 3, enhanced parallel port protocol. It's whatever your needs are. So you can also make a port address with the parallel port. You got a serial port that you can change the values. Miscellaneous devices, everything's enabled. So get a system configuration. Go to video configuration. It's on. I have it on auto because if you don't have it on auto, it will not work with the graphics card that's on here. So go to performance. So this does have multi-core support, which is enabled in E1. Then you also have speed step, which you can enable, disable the Intel speed stop or step mode of the processor when disabled. System placed in the highest performance state, and the Intel speed step applicant or naval operation system driver are prevented from adjusting the processor's performance. When enabled, the Intel speed stop enable CPU allows operation in multiple states. Then again, it depends on what you're doing with the computer. So this one you can do C state control. I don't usually use that one very often. This is enabled qubit limit. So you can set the maximum value of the processor. For certain applications it's a good thing, but for general use, don't even touch. This is virtualization. This is actually something you want enabled. So you can also enable virtual I/O. So let's say that you wanted to make a PLC machine out of this computer, and you wanted to make a diagnostic system. Like let's say you wanted to design a system that told you if the heat went out, or if there was a flood, or if your electricity went out, or if there was a fire. There's special I/O adapters you can buy in a PLC panel that you can plug in serial, and the capabilities of this machine are endless for being as old as it is, and they only get better. So trusted execution. You can use this to utilize additional hardware capabilities provided by Intel Trust Execution Technology, TPM virtualization technology, and virtually for I/O or direct I/O. Must be enabled to use this feature. So security, you can set administrator password to lock people out of the BIOS. System password, you can prevent people from booting the computer. You definitely don't want to do that. And this is enable password changes. This is something to do with trusted platform modules. I'm not familiar with this one. This one's you want enabled by default, because otherwise your operating system can exploit buffers, overflows, and so this is enabled for a reason. This one I'm not familiar with. This is probably pertains to the older. This one's deactivated because this one worked with the previous version of the BIOS, and I'm not using the software program that's associated with it. So you can enable signed firmware updates. That's only good if you're hooked up to a domain. And this one you don't want to put a password on this because your hard drive's not going to start up. So we'll get out of security. So much for being done by 1:30. So about power management, come on, damn it. So here, AC recovery, let's say that you have a power outage. You can set this so that the computer will come on automatically after a power outage. Or you can make it a last power state. So whatever it was doing before, it'll try to get back to what you're doing. It is a kind of an controversy there, because not everybody wants it to do that. You can also set up an auto wake up. So let's say you want a computer to come on by 7 a.m. every morning. You set this, but you have to have a wake up plan to make this happen. They don't tell you that here, but you got to have a server. Enable low power modes. This is not exactly the best option I recommend doing. And the reason I say that is, in case you get a voltage spike or low voltage, if you really have that crappy of power, chances are you should I would highly recommend having a battery backup unit plugged into the PC, just to protect it from, because voltage fluctuation will blow these things apart, and it will burn up the machine. Anything from like 117 to 110 is fine, but anything below that, you should seriously have battery backup. So this is the remote wake up feature that you can enable. So if you're hooked up to a Pixie server or a domain, you can have it as a function. So basically, the Pixie server, let's say the computer's off and the technician wants to work on it or re-image it, they can send a signal from their workstation to this machine saying, well, wake up, and it'll turn the computer on, and then you can boot it into the Pixie server. This is fan override, so this is set so if the heatsink or the processor gets to a certain temperature, the fan will kick in to compensate. So this is maintenance. You can do, this is your service tag, your asset tag. If you have to get a motherboard replacement, your technician will type that in. But if you mistype it, you pretty much brick your computer. And you might as well just throw it away and get something different. This is for the graphics card. I'm not familiar with that. So this is image server. I currently have it on DNS because I'm running a DNS server here at the moment. This is image server. That is not the valid IP. That's the factory default IP address that is used. So typically for factory default setting, the port number is 06910. Client DHCP is on DHCP. Client IP address, that's the factory default. Client subnet that's default by the factory. You can change it to whatever your prefix is in your company or your domain or network or house or school. I did not buy the license, so I'm not entitled to it. Post behavior, you can set fast boot. I have enabled numlock, LED. Post hotkeys, F12, enable F12. Keyboard error is enabled, so it'll tell you if there's a problem. Installed OS. You can set this so that if you're running multiple operating systems on the system, then it'll give you a list of operating systems to choose from. So that can come in handy sometimes. So now, last but not least, we'll go down to system logs. And 2010, none. 2007, 27 2010, keyboard error. So this is a 2010 computer. Alright, 2017. Memory size difference. 9.5 of 17. Post error. Memory size difference. This is from me. And this is also from me. So, I think we pretty much saw everything in BIOS. So that's the Dell logo. That's from me trying to get into the BIOS before because I kept turning the darn thing off. And I do not recommend doing that, and don't follow my lead on doing things that way. There's perfectly nothing wrong with the computer, I can honestly tell you that. So, I think on that note, I think we'll come back tomorrow morning. Alright, I can get to bed until 3 a.m. So, I'm getting kind of tired. I think I'll do better work when I'm not so tired. And I just didn't get as far today as I really hoped. I wanted to get the other one done. This one I wanted. Well, what the hell here? Let's see what. Oh, that's frickin' dandy. You can't even hit any buttons. Well, this is just frickin' dandy here. Well, come on, quit being pokey here. Hopefully it doesn't go through that repair process again, because Numlock's not even working either. Great. Seems like whenever I'm ready to sell something, it never works. Alright, we got promise because it's not doing its wonky thing like it was doing before. Last time I had this thing on was in January. Or February, actually. The beginning of February before I got sick. Come on, Pokey. Hey, we actually got an USB mouse. That's a better sign. It's a lot slower than I remembered it. Well, we got Windows starting up, so that's a good sign. Ta-da! Nice, beautiful wall. And when the or the owner of the new computer, or the pre-used computer comes tomorrow, I will put his name in there. This computer, I put Office 2019 on there for him, because that's what he requested. I put Home and Student on there because, so basically, this $10 computer went from 10 to 120 to 300, to 260 and up to 300, because he wanted some extra peripheral ports. He didn't want a cheap keyboard and mouse. He wanted a wireless, so I have two full wireless sets of keyboard and mouses. One I give him for 10 and the other one 30, brand new. And if he wants one his father-in-law brought, I'd let him have that one for 15, and then the mouse for 15, and then the set of speakers, I got one set USB speaker for 20, and then the bigger set for 30, basically. I think it was 29 or something. 30. Well, this has not been on in a while. And then I have two sets of other speakers here. That Altec lensing older set, I'd let them have that for 10, and the other set I'd let them have for 15, which is a newer set. It says Dell on it, but it's really Altec lens. No, actually, it's a Bang Olufsen or something. No, not a Bang Olufsen, but it's a higher end one. So we'll let Windows catch up here. First time around, the start menu doesn't respond right away. Can't believe I'm going to be here until... Alright, here. Come on, any day now. I have a funny feeling he's not going to be happy with this. And how slow. I think the hard drive, between the hard drive and the processor, it's a real disadvantage. Well, if he's not satisfied with this model, well, he's going to have to be, because he doesn't want to pay any more than $300. And if I gave him a different one, that'd be around 400. So come on, quit poking around here. Just open already. For damn sake here. Sure, now it opened. This is slow as hell. Sure I did. Plug in a set of speakers. So we're going to let it check for updates. Now unfortunately Windows 10 is really hard on old systems like this. I hate 10 for that reason, because even Linux is kinder on a system like this compared to 10. I'm probably going to call her a night and come back tomorrow when things are a little, when I'm not so crabby and tired. I've been going since, actually I got a late start this morning. I didn't get going until 11. But then again, when you work a lot, you just don't really have a lot of time. And today was a bad day because, well, I had a few things here that are being a pain in the ass, so good night, and we'll be back. Excuse me. Well, good morning. We are back here at Reindel's computer service, and we are going to finish doing this Dell product review here. So I was just talking with the customer this morning for a little bit. He popped over here. So I always like associating with customers and kind of having conversations with them and just kind of keeping in contact with them. It's a good business relation to keep in touch with them. Even if they're not always there to buy something, always encourage them to stop in and say hello, because it'll take you a lot further when you kind of so basically we'll get out of here. We'll go back into security and updates. Oh, is that until one? So we got a featured update here. We'll go ahead and install and we have a series of updates that it'll be doing. So while we're waiting for that, I'm going to pull all this stuff out of here and then give it a good scrub while we're waiting. So this will take a while, so we will be back. Hello and welcome back. I should have started this video probably 4 or 5 hours ago, but I kind of got carried away with other crap that was going on here. So I was going to make video footage into Sunday or Saturday and Sunday, but unfortunately I kind of got busy with maintenance on the floor in this room, so we'll be here for a little bit yet. And so we'll go ahead and wake this back up. It's not going to be a perfect overview of the system, but I got a lot of editing and so basically it went through all the updates. There's probably like a few months worth of updates. So I'll go ahead and we'll get signed in. Well, since my philosophy on Chrome Well, no, I do not. I would not recommend Google Chrome. No, I don't miss Google Chrome, unfortunately. I really don't. So basically, with this system, it's not as slow. The response time has gotten a little bit better. So we'll run this program real quick here. And we'll just kind of do it. Okay. Go through, see if there's any. Yeah, it's not too bad. So basically what I'll do before the gentleman that's going to get it, I'll probably take it home and blow the dust and stuff out of here. Because I have a feeling once he gets it, it will never get cleaned again. So I'll just kind of go through and piece by piece get it figured out. Well, since I do have a little bit of time, I probably have until the end of the week with this machine. We could actually, possibly, just as a brainstorm idea, we could do some hyper-threading on here just to kind of get an idea of how well it performs doing. We're not going to test every function of this computer. Not only do I kind of frown upon that idea, as one, I'm kind of limited on time, and two, I don't have every piece of equipment that you could possibly ever do to test every single function of this motherboard and computer. Basically, the gentleman that's going to get it, he's not going to be using most of that anyway. So, he's pretty much strictly just going to use it for the internet, looking at pictures and using it to watch his home movies that he does. Word documents, Excel, PowerPoint, email. Kids will be using it for school stuff. So you don't really need to test every function of it. As long as it boots up, as long as it's snappy fast. And it's not bad for a 9-year-old machine. So there's not much you can complain about. These Dell optiplexes are workhorses. I got a customer out in Grimm's that has one. That's basically a twin that's sitting on the floor down that he bought, and it still works. still clunking away. So can't really complain there either. These things are pretty much indestructible as far as computers go. So not bad. See if it needs any internet boost. And basically, we'll kind of sit down and kind of do a little test of so that's good to go. System optimization. What's really cool about this program, which I've explained in numerous videos, that when you do all these optimizations and you go through and clean it, it's fun to reboot the computer, because when you first boot it up, then it has a thing in the corner telling you how fast it booted. But I don't care how fast you make the hardware in your computer, or if you have an i7 or an i5 or an i3 or Core 2 dual or Core 2 quad, or you got 16 gigs of memory or 12 or 8 or 4. The thing that not only is that RAM is a partial factor, and so is the CPU, and graphics can be a little bit, but the main thing that drags your computer down is the hard drive, especially if it's at only a 5400 RPM. 7200 isn't bad, but an SSD, you can take old computers like these and throw SSDs in, and they're almost as fast. I got two computers here that are on the same era as this machine, and I got its solid states in there, and it only takes probably about 53 seconds for it to boot. And all your applications that you load on there, it doesn't lag as much as the traditional 5400 RPM revolutionaries per minute drives. So get out of here, go down to, let's see if, and I have been using this computer for a little bit just to use it, but unfortunately I had another computer I was going to make a video on, but it's deader than a doornail. It's a vintage branded Royal computer, and maybe I can fix it. I doubt it, but I just think when they sit for so many years, I got one at home that actually I got two of them I should do something with one of these days. It's just a matter of time and money is what's really so. Let's see if we got a vulnerability problem. Yeah, not too bad. More updates. Excellent. So basically, with this system, I just can't believe how expensive that was back in the day when it was new. But if I could find more computers like these, or newer versions of these, like with the Core i7s and stuff, second gen, third gen, fourth, fifth, sixth, I would definitely pick those up if I could come across more stuff. Oh, this damn camera. Well, while we're waiting, we'll pause this. Hello, and welcome back. I should have started this video probably 4 or 5 hours ago, but I kind of got carried away with other crap that was going on here, so I was going to make video footage into Sunday, or Saturday and Sunday, but unfortunately I kind of got busy with maintenance on the floor in this room, so we'll be here for a little bit yet, and so we'll go ahead and wake this back up. It's not going to be a perfect overview of the system, but I got a lot of editing and so basically it went through all the updates. There's probably like a few months worth of updates. So I'll go ahead and we'll get signed in. Well, since my philosophy on Chrome, well, no, I do not. I would not recommend Google Chrome. No, I don't miss Google Chrome, unfortunately. I really don't. So basically, with this system, it's not as slow. The response time has gotten a little bit better. So we'll run this program real quick here. And we'll just kind of do it. Okay. Go through see if there's any. Yeah, it's not too bad. So basically what I'll do before the gentleman that's going to get it, I'll probably take it home and blow the dust and stuff out of here. Because I have a feeling once he gets it, it will never get cleaned again. So I'll just kind of go through and piece by piece get it figured out. Well, since I do have a little bit of time, I probably have until the end of the week with this machine. We could actually, possibly, just as a brainstorm idea, we could do some hyper-threading on here just to kind of get an idea of how well it performs doing. We're not going to test every function of this computer. Not only do I kind of frown upon that idea, and one kind of limited on time, and two, I don't have every piece of equipment that you could possibly ever do to test every single function of this motherboard and computer. Basically, the gentleman that's going to get it, he's not going to be using most of that anyway. So, he's pretty much strictly just going to use it for the internet, looking at pictures and using it to watch his home movies that he does. Word documents, Excel, PowerPoint, email. Kids will be using it for school stuff. So you don't really need to test every function of it. As long as it boots up, as long as it's snappy fast. And it's not bad for a 9-year-old machine. So there's not much you can complain about. These Dell optiplexes are workhorses. I got a customer out in Grimm's that has one. That's basically a twin that's sitting on the floor down that he bought, and it still works. It's still clunking away, so can't really complain there either. These things are pretty much indestructible as far as computers go. So, not bad. Let's see if it needs any internet boost. And basically, we'll kind of sit down and kind of do a little test of so that's good to go. System optimization. What's really cool about this program, which I've explained in numerous videos, that when you do all these optimizations and you go through and clean it, it's fun to reboot the computer, because when you first boot it up, then it has a thing in the corner telling you how fast it booted. But I don't care how fast you make the hardware in your computer, or if you have an i7 or an i5 or an i3 or Core 2 dual or Core 2 quad, or you got 16 gigs of memory or 12 or 8 or 4. The thing that not only is that RAM is a partial factor, and so is the CPU, and graphics can be a little bit, but the main thing that drags your computer down is the hard drive, especially if it's at only a 5400 RPM. 7200 isn't bad, but an SSD, you can take old computers like these and throw SSDs in, and they're almost as fast. I got two computers here that are around the same era as this machine, and I got its solid states in there, and it only takes probably about 53 seconds for it to boot. And all your applications that you load on there, it doesn't lag as much as the traditional 5400 RPM revolutionaries per minute drives. So get out of here, go down to, let's see if, and I have been using this computer for a little bit just to use it, but unfortunately I had another computer I was going to make a video on, but it's deader than a doornail. It's a vintage branded Royal computer, and maybe I can fix it. I doubt it, but I just think when they sit for so many years, I got one at home that Actually, I got two of them I should do something with one of these days. It's just a matter of time and money, is what's really. So let's see if we got a vulnerability problem. Yeah, not too bad. More updates. Excellent. So basically, with this system, I just can't believe how expensive that was back in the day when it was new. But if I could find more computers like these, or newer versions of these, like with like Core i7s and stuff, second gen, third gen, fourth, fifth, sixth, I would definitely pick those up if I could come across. Well, while we're waiting, we'll pause this. Alrighty, we're back, and we will continue with this video. So we pretty much, this optimization shouldn't be much of anything, maybe one or two items. Alright, more like 2,960 items. Well, we'll pause that, that might take a while. Okay, it turns out that the Dell did not like the USB speakers. It was just not giddy and happy about it, so I pulled out one of the models I was going to make as an option for my customer, and we will verify that those are working. And they sound to be working just fine. These are Black Web Wally World Special speakers. And I'm not going to give Walmart the satisfaction of calling it Walmart. I'll just refer to it as Wally World instead. So basically, I just kind of got it plugged into the extension cord because I don't have any available outlets close by, so basically we're just about done here. Well, we're not quite done yet. We're going to install Firefox, because it's also part of the culprit of browsing problems. And we'll replace it with Opera web browser. Awesome, we got that done. And now we'll go back in and we'll do the web browsing part of. So of course, with Windows 10, when you want to set your web browser by default, you want to click on Brave and make that the default. So we'll do the web browsing portion of this video. Let's see, let's go to go to Dell, Web browsing is so spectacular on here. It's plenty fast. Let's go look at some workstations. There's nothing really to complain about when you're web browsing on the machine. When you got one page open, it's spectacular. Let's open another page. Let's check some YouTube. Not bad, 2 tabs. Then again, this computer's got 12 gigs of RAM. And let's see what the processing power. CPU is kind of bouncing around a bit, but that's what you gotta expect for a Core 2 Dual. Memory, currently using 3 gigs out of 12, so that's not bad. The hard drive, I'm not surprised, because it's kind of a low end drive. So it's kind of pick an oldie but a goodie. Sure, we'll do the VSonic. See how well that this. Hello everybody, this is Don Limited here again, and today we're going to do another. Okay, so this is the monitor that we're looking at today. So that's the model number. And as you can see, the computer's handling itself quite well. We're not going to open thousands and thousands of browsers just to see how
started using this camera recently. So bear with me while I'm figuring.
But basically, as you saw in that demonstration, it's not a bad computer for this kind of application. Disclaimer, we're not going to try any games on here, but we will open. Let's open Microsoft Word and see how well. Okay, it's a little bit sluggish there, and it kind of hesitates a little bit, but it does start right up with Office 2019. Value alone at $267 retail price, or was that $167? I think that. So let's open a blank document. As you can see, it works superior for office work. No, we don't want to save with this. Okay, it does hang up a little bit, but for basic tasks like that, it's perfectly good. So now we'll open Excel. And that actually came up quite well. Sure, let's take the tour. See how well it handles itself. Let's go. So you can do lots of fancy work like this. So just to kind of give you an idea. I don't want to save, so we'll open PowerPoint and we'll see how well there's no reason why I can't handle it. It's just strictly, let's just do a so as you can see, PowerPoint's not really in that fancy format, but it's handling itself quite well. Not bad. I would give this computer a 7.5 out of 10. And my main reasons for it is, one of my actually top, it's a Dell for one. It's a quality of machine. Two, even though it's only a Core 2 dual, and with the 12 gig configuration that I put in here, it makes a superior internet browsing and for doing work in. Why don't we load a classical music CD? What the hell did I do with? Oh, that's the tool bin. Ah. Can't guarantee that this will. Apparently I put Neil Diamond in there. I have to resurface these CDs. So I'll get out of PowerPoint. And good evening, everybody. I wasn't originally going to show this, but it's kind of a very simplex thing, so I'll go ahead. I'm going to replace it with this LG super multi. It should work. Got it at a yard sale for practically nothing. So, what is that? That pulls out like that, and then you just pull your SATA and power supply cable out. Oh, it's got, we can definitely do something about. Yeah, I'm gonna go grab a screwdriver real quick. And I have one. I got good old cheapy Menards $1.99 screwdrivers. So we'll take the mounting. Oh, it's missing one. This is from 2010, this drive. So we'll go ahead and put it. This drive is from 2010. Lord willing, that this one actually works. Because I'll be excruciatingly disappointed if it doesn't. But this one's not all that fancy of one either. It's not a burner. Oh yeah, it is. Well, hopefully that it won't be. Is at the price I'm selling it to, I'm just gonna barely scrape even with all the stuff that's going with it. It's basically more of a reimbursement, more or less. So, go ahead and tighten. It was kind of a beautiful day today. It wasn't as nice as it was Sunday and Monday. But at least it's not snowing. And at least we didn't get a crap ton of snow this winter. You can always rely on these screwdrivers. When you need them, you always have it. So we'll go ahead, stick this one in, same way that it came out. Slide her in, and you just pull your connectors back in. No. Unfortunately, it's missing one screw. I'm not the person that lost it. So, obviously the factory, when they put those together, they make sure everything is in there. So, the previous owner of it. So this is 2011. So that pops in like this. Plug the power cord back in. And we will make sure that it's working. Put this back up where it belongs. Get this out of here. Tip is getting a little blunt on there, but I use it a lot. There, once it wears out, I got a lot of other screwdrivers here, so. Let's make sure that it actually opens. And indeed, that does. This one, I might be able to salvage. This is a DVD writer. Excuse me. I just got off work from my other job, so I'm done for the evening there. So I thought I'd get here, get started on my videos right away. And we'll finish this review on the Dell Optiplex 780. Seems like it's a little bit faster booting. That didn't take long at all. So let the computer catch up. That's what I was talking about last night. For a system like that, you can't really complain on the speed. of it. So we'll go ahead and make sure the computer's all caught up first. I always wondered why that was so sloppy sitting in there, but so go into Windows. I'm going to see Media Player. Well, I got a different option. I'll go into File Explorer. Well, we could do this too. This will work just fine. We will play with Windows Media Player. And this computer, it's not even going to sweat it at all. I can guarantee you that. Well, this we can. I know we can actually take. Oh, they don't give you an option for that. So I forgot to set this up when I installed Windows. So I'll let Media Player do its thing, and then we will come back in a second. There's only got about 8 minutes left on this tape, so I think we can finish this review in 8 seconds. I know this review is out of order, I admit that, but thanks to the magic of video editing, I can flip-flop it around and so as you can see, the audio CD works perfectly on there. I have no doubt that this computer can't handle this kind of application. And, you know, thinking about it, I can't show any DVDs on here because the YouTube copyright police is gonna really let me have it for it, so I think instead, well, I can't show transferring all the pictures and files over either because it's all confidentiality. Not only is there corporate stuff on the computer that it's being transferred from to this one, but there's a gentleman's personal pictures and files and other legal stuff that should not be seen by other viewers on YouTube. So I'm thinking what else I should do yet before calling it the video. Well, unfortunately, I don't have the kind of time to do the hyper-threading portion of it. That's just my fan making shadows in the plastic. I think I could actually probably take that off. So, I know it wasn't that great of a review, but to make up for that, we replaced the DVD drive on camera. And it works. So, On that note, we will go ahead and call it a video then. Thank you for watching, and thank you for sticking through the whole video. I know it's not perfect. I know that there's people that are very critical about the way I do things, but if everybody did everything the same, it would be boring. I don't do my videos with fancy effects. I don't do it with obnoxious music or obnoxious evangelizing or whatever. But I guess this is kind of the way I like doing videos, just kind of plain and simple. So, let's teach their own. Basically, kind of the main reason I went into doing the videos was I was inspired by UXW Bill, the Westlife from New Jersey, the UXW Bill's from Illinois, the Nostalgia Mall channel, or yeah, I think that's what it's called. And then the main factor, and it was God kind of influenced me in a way of doing videos, and it wasn't all on my own that I did it. But I don't know if I'll include this part in the video, but there's a lot of editing that's going to be done. So, hopefully you're rolling. I got a lot of footage, but it'll just take time to get it edited and up on YouTube. I gotta cut out anything that shouldn't be there. So, I think we'll do a couple of monitor reviews. I didn't really do a review on that monitor yet, or the Dell 19-inch one that's going to go with this computer. And the keyboard and mouse that are sitting there hooked up to it currently right now, that's not going with it. So the guy that's buying this wants a wireless keyboard and mouse. His father-in-law brought me one to sell for him, and then I have one in a box, and then I have a brand new. So he could either buy this wireless mouse that I got here to go with this wireless keyboard that I have from. You could either buy that, or we could buy the package deal. And then in my proposal to him, I also included speakers, and I got 4 choices of speakers that, or actually even 4, yeah, 4 we could do. So, just to throw it out there, and that. So, we'll see you in a little bit.